Hi guys, Coley here, coming to you live from my home studio. And when I say live, I mean we record live and I release as I want, and we do not really edit. And so what you hear is what we said. So that's kind of fun. Before we get started today with my awesome guest, Susan Bender Phelps, who was actually my speech and writing coach once upon a time and really helped me get started in my public speaking and writing career, actually. Um, I'm going to mention a couple of the people that really make a difference in my practical state lifestyle. And those are all going to be available, of course, in the links around whatever platform you're listening to. So please make sure to click through just to support the podcast and the message. If it resonates with you, this is definitely your time to be able to give back when you receive. And I'll support, of course, my little family that I support through my writing and blogging and podcasting and such. So the people that I wanted to talk about are Packed Organic Apparel. And this is a clothing company that is, of course, obviously organic. It's mostly cotton right now. And like I'm wearing my leggings right now from them. I have bought all of the apparel from them, and I really appreciate the fact that they're a sustainable company. They are looking to change the fashion industry just by making people aware of what we wear and how it not only affects our planet but and our humans that are producing the clothes, but also how it affects the body that it's on. Of course, we can remember that anytime we are putting anything in or on our skin, it is absorbed through that dermal layer and goes right into our internal organs and our bloodstream. So when we're looking at those, we are going to be talking about the pesticides that the materials are either grown with or doused in for processing, and how that really does affect our endocrine system, our hormones. Hormonal balance is a huge thing on the planet Earth in 2020. And so obviously, just as the practical saying, I want to bring awareness to what we wear. And when you click the link below, you're going to get, I think it's 20% off. I'm so bad at that. I need help with my production. So Packed Apparel, go and check them out for sure, and get some underwear and some maybe comfy clothes for this winter season coming up. It is now time. We're moving into November, so this is being recorded on 10/28, 2020, and I'm super excited to be talking with our awesome guest, Susan Bender Phelps. I'm going to read her intro in just one moment. Just the other person, company that I want to talk about really fast that I've been affiliated with for almost a decade, pretty much a decade now, is doTERRA International, and they have been the forerunners. I've been, working the field with them, plowing the field, as it were. And so we are a company, essential oil company with wellness products, holistic wellness products from literally around the world. And so the beauty of this company is that the essential oils, the plant medicine, the plant compounds, the plant chemicals that are found in mainstream medicines all the time, like aspirin and, just all of the pharmaceuticals basically have the botanical extracts, the compounds taken out a derivative of that, and then they're synthesized on the mainstream market and synthetically produced for cheaper production. And that is what the basis of our modern medicine really is. So we're cutting out the middleman using the direct plant oils. And the thing that's really cool that I'll highlight at this little juncture is that the plants are grown all over the world, and they're grown for purity and potency. So like the things that really matter when it comes to these volatile compounds that are so delicate to work with is making sure that, of course, that it's grown in a organic environment where their plants are used to growing, so that they are at the highest chemical compound possible. And then also that they're harvested at the correct time, at the peak time where the chemical constituents are at its highest. And then right after that, picking needs to be processed right away and in a safe steam distilled way, so that there's no harm done to the delicate medicines that we're receiving into our cells, our being, our cells, our bodies. And our animals and our planet and all of the and all of the components that go into absorbing the chemicals that we put off. So it's really important to be able to save the awesome spectrum of the medicinal uses out of each plant, hundreds of active ingredients instead of just one or two, like in modern medicine that we find like over the counter or prescription. So really what we're doing is putting intelligent agents into our systems that are naturally, we're plant-based compounds as well. So we're all made from the same stuff. So this stuff really works awesome. And I'm really excited to be partnering with them. So make sure to click through the links and check it out. It's only, to join the club, it's only $35 a year, which gives you instant access to, millions of global wellness, holistic wellness users, and also that puts you in touch with the actual people that are trained professionally to help assist you on your journey. So that is a really cool club to be a part of, the doTERRA.com club. My personal link is mydoTERRA.com/mind, but that link, of course, is going to be right around your platform that you're listening to this cast on. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce my next guest. Susan Bender Phelps' gift is bringing out the best in others. She works with companies who want to maximize employee engagement, build leaders, increase productivity and profits. In other words, companies who want employees who want to be at work. As founder and lead trainer of Odyssey Mentoring and Leadership, she helps her clients create a culture of learning and support that allows their people to deliver breakthrough results time after time. Susan speaks nationally on harmonizing your work and life, leading with heart, and powerful presentations. She is the author of Aspire Higher, a collection of true success stories of career and business mentoring. She has a bachelor's degree in communication and a master's in management and organizational leadership. Susan lives in Portland, Oregon metro area with her husband, grandson, and yellow lab retriever, Cookie. She is a certified scuba diver and loves to travel the world. Here is our beautiful, amazing guest, Susan. Here we go. Hi, Susan.
Hi, Coley.
Welcome to the Practical Saint Talks.
Thank you. It is always a pleasure to spend time with you.
Oh, thank you so much for saying so. Susan, thank you so much for being here. You guys, we are so blessed to have her with us. She actually did help, as I mentioned earlier, she helped me to launch my speaking career and really helped me just develop my style and develop my panache and like be an effective communicator. I'm still working on it. Don't blame her for my, don't judge her based on my performance, please. But she has meant the world to me, and we've known each other for about like almost 3 years now. I think it was in 2018 we met. And so I was touring with doTERRA International, and I met her at what was that?
It was the Curvy Chic.
Yeah. We won't talk much about that, but it was quite the event.
Oh, yes.
I'm so happy that we were there together. That was really cool. You were probably
the best. That was the reason we both had to be there, was to
definitely.
meet.
Yes.
Nothing else paid off for either one of us.
Exactly. Yes. So it was really awesome. Today we get to talk about the who, what, where, when, whys are. We're talking with Susan, and what we get to discuss today is harmonizing your life, busting the myth of work-life balance. Where is where you are right now. Right now, today is when. And why? Because feeling like a failure, even when you are a success, even when you have achieved success, sucks the vitality right out of you, right out of us. So
Yes.
So let's dig in. We did a lengthy pre-interview, and she is amazing, you guys. This stuff is really what Susan has spent her lifetime like developing, and really, I mean, she knows what she's talking about. She's result driven, and like we mentioned, she trains corporately, which of course people, pay her to help them get better results. So that's the whole point of this conversation, is to actually help improve your life today, right now.
Yes.
So we're going to talk about the different ways in which really we can, well, let's bust the myth. Let's dive in and really give our listeners the ability to figure out what the problem is in the first place, because most people don't even realize that we're on that myth of a tightrope balance called balance. So we just need to get everyone thinking about your actual life and realize you really are a success. We are successful, and it's time to stop the shame, stop the guilt, stop feeling like a failure, because we're not. So let's get into it. Tell us more about harmonizing our life.
Well, because I speak all over the country and I also train employees in lots of different companies, I started to see a disturbing trend. Speakers who talked about work-life balance, authors who talked about work-life balance, I began to believe were steering us in the wrong direction. Because I, like most of you probably do now, thought that if I could just balance this part of my life, and I only have two hands. So when I'm up on the stage, I also, got my foot up. It's
Right.
impossible, right? And so you're standing there, and if anybody calls my name, I'm out of balance.
It's out.
It doesn't even have to be a big, terrible thing that occurred.
Right.
And how I was living my life was, if I fell out of balance, then I must have done something wrong.
Yeah.
I didn't understand well enough how to really balance. And even though I could ride a bicycle for 100 miles on a single bike ride, yes, there were potty stops and food stops.
Yes.
But even though I could do that without falling, the way I rode a bicycle, because I wasn't a bicycle rider, by the way, when I did this, my bike I was like this for 100 miles riding that bike, not like this. All those people who really know how to ride a bike.
Right.
But the truth is, no matter how good you are at riding a bike, you can fall off. you can get heat stroke, you can get dehydrated. And when you are doing anything, whether it's riding a bike, whether it's running your business, whether it's taking care of your children when
Exactly,
you're not
running
at work.
a household.
Running a household, yes. Or trying to run a household while you're at work.
Yeah. Right.
Right? And who hasn't tried to do that?
Exactly.
Our husbands or the fathers
Yeah.
of our children. They generally don't. So even though some men are really now in the last, say, 15 years, learning that there's a home life and a work life and you have to do it all.
Yeah.
It's still falling on women for the most part to run the home, run the family, and do their business, whether they're the CEO
Yep.
or a high executive, a department head,
Or a cashier, for the love of Christ.
or the cashier or the waitress. Exactly. And right. So if we think that we have to keep it all together all the time, just saying it to you makes my body tense up.
I know,
Just right? Describing it, because I've been there.
Right.
And when I started to realize and loosen up, and instead of looking to balance my life, I started to think about harmonizing my life. And it actually came out of a coaching session with my coach.
Oh, nice.
And she was coaching me in my business. And I was struggling with that issue because I had so many speaker colleagues and trainer colleagues who had made work-life balance the centerpiece of their work.
Right.
And it rang hollow for me. It didn't work for me.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, Stephanie said, try thinking about harmonizing instead of balancing. And I think that was probably 9 years ago when she said that to me.
Wonderful.
And I began, it was like she gave me a vitamin, a time release vitamin.
Oh, I love that. Yes.
And it just kept releasing and releasing and releasing. And I started to see that every life is going to be lived either fully or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if we're going to live life fully, it means we have to be able to appreciate the great things in our life. We have to feel sorrow, because if we were happy all the time, we'd actually get bored being happy all the time. And we would do things to make ourselves unhappy so that we could relieve the boredom of happiness.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So, I mean, I hear you saying harmony is more like looking at the holistic lifestyle and appreciating all the notes, all the details.
And even when we don't appreciate something, when something happens, you just can't appreciate it. This is really sucky. You know, when a child dies and you have to grieve your own child, nobody wants to bury a child. And yet we don't know when our children are born, when we're born, how long anyone's life will be.
Right.
So it could be a week, it could be 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 50 years, 60 years. We don't know. Now, if it's more than 60, you probably won't be around to see your kid pass away. But you get my idea. And so when you can love fully, you're going to feel pain when something happens to disturb that love. When something terrible happens, if you don't allow yourself to experience the grief, you're going to get long-term depressed, you're going to be angry, and everything in your life will become more difficult.
Right. So by not focusing on single, like not letting life happens, like you said, not letting life throw us off balance, because we're not trying to walk the tightrope anyway. We're harmonizing with life. Therefore, when
Well,
things
it will,
come at us,
no, it will actually, yeah, but life will throw us off balance. It's when we think that being thrown off balance is a problem.
okay. All right. So
That's where we get into
yeah,
trouble. Because
right.
we think we're supposed to hold it all together. We think we should be able to manage the ship smoothly, even in the face of adversity.
Right.
You know,
The boat
plan for the
rocks.
best and prepare for the worst. You always have to do that. Every note in the song of life is essential to the song of your life. If you know there are going to be high points and low points, and they're part of the song, you don't have to feel guilty when the low point comes and you think it's because of you. Now,
Right.
you may have made a poor choice, but we're not omniscient. We can never know before we make a choice how it's going to turn out.
I suppose that would bring us back to harmony, right? Living in harmony
Yes.
with ourselves and being realistic about life. Like you said, we aren't all knowing. We really can't see the consequences of our choices. So learning to go with our gut and make informed decisions in the best causes and conditions possible for good outcomes. But still, like you're saying, is what I hear, is that life happens anyway, and we just have to go with it. And so as we're talking about harmonizing our life, like really, how can people, so people see that they're stuck in this cycle. They see that they are literally, oh yeah, I really have taken this personally. Like I am a failure because life happened. So what
And
then? Where
that's
do we go from here?
and that's crazy making. That's what makes people feel crazy. It makes them feel less than. It
Right.
makes them feel guilty. And at some point, they become overwhelmed by those feelings. And that's when you have burnout. So everything you do adds to the stress because you're already over the line of where, because there is good stress and there's bad stress.
Right. Well, life is stress. Living on the planet Earth is pretty stressful, I'm gonna have to say.
It totally is. It
Right.
totally is. You know, and it takes courage to live a harmonious life.
Right. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about how people really can live that harmonious life. Like, what are some practical steps that even listeners can take today, right now, where they are today? They've realized they're out of balance, or I mean, they're out of harmony, and they're grasping at the myth of balance, which is bullshit. I mean, we've come to that. So
that's first thing to do is let go of the myth of work-life balance.
Okay, let it go.
No, just let it go. And that is easier said than done. But what I implore you to look at is that literally the context of harmony can help you to let go, because the song of life will flow through you and it will energize and empower you even in the face of adversity.
Oh gosh, that is so good. I'm taking notes because I also do a blog piece on this. That was
good. Thank you. I can't wait to see it.
Good.
The next thing I would like to say is that I'm going to repeat what I just said a few seconds ago about courage. Most of us, in addition to thinking that we can hold it all together and keep it balanced, have thought that if we're afraid, then we're not courageous. And we think that in order to take a step into unknown territory, we have to stop being afraid. And then that means we have the courage to do it. That's another myth.
Wrongo.
That robs us.
Yes.
It robs us and it paralyzes us. So courage is what you have when you're afraid and you do it anyway.
Yeah, right.
Without fear, there is no courage. And some people do suffer from anxiety and they feel fear that is paralyzing when they're feeling anxious. But you notice when you're not feeling anxious, you feel pretty powerful.
Mm-hmm.
But things trigger our fears and anxieties. And they're mostly things that are outside of ourselves. So what I have noticed for myself, because I have fears and anxieties too, I am not, and I have immense courage because of them.
Yes, you do.
Right? So when I notice that I'm afraid or that I'm ginning up into anxiety, that's a signal. Not that I better watch out for danger.
Right.
Although that's mostly, because that's like the limbic brain and the caveman brain and all that stuff.
Right.
But what just got triggered that has me feel this way? So COVID is an opportunity for people to really examine their anxieties. You have people who are afraid to be alone and they're stuck in their apartments. They need to learn how to love themselves so they can be alone with themselves. And that's a process.
That's a whole other topic. That's
a whole other topic.
Next time.
But it's definitely something to attend to.
Definitely.
You have people who have children who want to keep them safe, or elders in their life that they want to touch and hug and hold, and they can't because of this virus. And so that makes a whole other kind of anxiety and upset. We are in sort of a never-ending war with this virus at this point. It feels that way for many people.
Right.
And you have people who have different ideas about whether or not they want to be safe, whether or not they want to take a chance, whether or not they're willing to try to do things to keep the virus at bay, or say, you know what, there's nothing we can do about it. If I get it, I get it.
Right.
And if I live, I live, and if I die, or die. If I live, I live, and I die, or die, that's not courage.
Right.
That's something else. If I'm afraid that I'm going to get it, but I wear my mask, I wash my hands, I keep my distance, I still might get it. But my odds have dramatically decreased.
Right.
That said, every time we take a risk, we have to measure the odds. What are the odds I'm willing to have this happen? Now, I've actually been so afraid to do something that I blacked out.
Oh my gosh, like the fainting goat.
Right? What it was is I was doing this personal growth, week-long intensive retreat kind of thing. And one day was the ropes course day. And one of the things was a zip line.
Oh my God.
And we had done, we did a Tyrolean traverse, we did trustfuls, we backed down a cliff, and backing down the cliff, all belayed with people holding. I forgot how to make my knees bend.
Oh.
And I couldn't walk backwards. I got so scared.
Yeah.
But there was a coach there, and they kept talking to me. And pretty soon I was able to bend one knee, and then I was able to bend the other, and I got down the cliff. And I was in this little group, and we had to walk up the hill, which looked like a mountain to us. And on the way there, people in my group started to panic. And they were like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not going. I can't go. I'm not taking another step. I'm not doing this. And here I am coaching everybody on my team up that flipping hill.
Oh my God.
Right? We get there. And when it's your turn, they put the straps on you. You are belayed down below, but it's really far away. I have no idea, but the people only looked like they were this big to me.
My God.
And you got up there and they checked your buckles, and then there was like a white plank that went out over the cliff edge. And the instruction was to walk to the edge, put your toes over the edge and lean forward and just fall. Let yourself fall. And everybody I talked up the hill did it. They did it. They were no longer crying. They felt good. And now it was me, one more person from my team, and the coaches and the helpers.
Oh my gosh.
And it turns out my body can find balance on even the slightest edge of a plank.
Right?
I kept getting to the edge and pulling back, getting to the edge and pulling back. And I don't know how long it took. And at one point, the woman who was supporting me said to me, at this point, I'm like 32 years old. And she says to me, a 64-year-old lady just went off this rope. You can do it. And I looked at her and I said, she's old. She has nothing to live for. Of course she went off the cliff. So that's how scared I was. I am not an unkind person, right?
Right.
So I get to the edge, and at some point, I think I was parallel with the ledge, and I didn't go over.
And you couldn't do it.
And I couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden, I said, I'm going to do this. I don't know what it's going to take, but I'm going to do it. And it took me 3 more tries, but I went. And I remember seeing the blue sky above and the tops of these pine trees, and then black.
Oh, Susan, oh my God.
I saw nothing. I heard nothing. Nothing. It was just black.
Oh my God.
And then I heard a voice, a man's very deep voice say, wake up and don't let go till I tell you. And when I opened my eyes, it felt like 20 people were holding on to me and unhooking me and hugging me for having had the courage to go, right? And I cried for the next 30 minutes. I have no idea why, but I did it. And I conquered a level of fear that I didn't even know I could get to.
Right.
And so I don't advise that you have to get so scared you faint and put yourself in danger, not at all.
Right.
But what I learned from that episode, that opportunity, was that whatever I thought I was afraid of, I made it. I survived it.
Yeah. Now,
there may come a time when I don't, but I'm now 68 years old in a week and a half.
Happy birthday.
And it turns out I do have something to live for. And I want to be 100 with plans and the ability to carry them out.
Yeah. And
so
living a harmonious life is definitely going to help us to achieve that, right? Because fear is debilitating. And if we feel like a failure over and over and over, even when we have actually created success, but are misaligning it with failure, then it's going to it could kill us. Like
it could.
Little fears and constant failure feelings literally lead to death. They are very debilitating, like more anxiety, there's never going to be a breakthrough, right?
And there might be, because we always have the opportunity to choose and choose powerfully.
Yes.
And that's the other thing. When things go kaflooey, we resist them with everything we got. It's like white knuckle time. I am not going to let this get out of control.
On the ledge, but holding on for dear life. Right? I am not going to
go over. And we're resisting and resisting. And when you resist, your body becomes so tight. Your mind becomes so tight.
Blood is
lose the flexibility to become, and you can't adapt. You cannot adapt when you're in that space. Yes. You have to let go of trying to hold it together, to adapt, to become resilient. And if you know going in that you're going to have high times and wonderful times and great joy, you're going to have boring moments, you're going to have slow times, you're going to have fast times where you're working your buns off and you don't have a moment to breathe. And then you're going to be hit with things that are nobody's fault.
Hey, the unexpected.
You know, I'm going to tell you, it doesn't rain on you because of something you did.
Yes, thank you.
It rains when it rains.
Exactly.
And anybody who thinks that it rained on you because you did something bad and my sun is shining because I did it better is looking in the wrong place.
Yeah, they're the people that are holding on to balance, right? That pretty soon their rainy day is coming for sure.
It's coming. And it could be a hurricane. It could be a tornado. You may or may not make it. But for me, I want to live my life fully every second until I'm not.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give up the joy of my life, the frustrations of my life. And I will tell you, there are days when I just went, oh, the best. The other day, I was on the phone with someone and it went badly. It was a political conversation. And I was just like, and it wasn't about the president and it wasn't about COVID, believe it or not.
Oh,
it was about local politics and something that we're working on to try to get done.
Okay.
And I was so frustrated. And then something else happened and I was just so frustrated. And I walked in here and I looked at my husband. I said, people are just pissing me off. And he went, I love you. And I just started to laugh. And I fell into his arms and we hugged each other and we kept laughing.
Nice.
That was the harmony of that moment.
Right.
And he didn't have to fix anything. He didn't have to go get those guys who upset me.
Right.
He just had to be there the way he is and the way I am for him.
That's sweet.
And the way we can be for the people we love, the people we work with. It doesn't have to be bad for us when bad things happen.
Thank you. So I think that is probably exactly the key point, right? In order to harmonize and not be in balance, we have to realize it's not bad when bad things happen. It's not horrible. I mean, it feels horrible, but it's not. That's what life is. It's a mix of good and bad and ups and downs. And we need to expect that the unexpected is going to occur. That's life.
Yes. And our feelings are generally appropriate, except when they're not. And right? Yeah. But our feelings are not an accurate measure of reality.
Yeah.
Because our feelings occur in the moment. We don't do them. They do us.
Mm-hmm.
So you get triggered. You can be triggered to cry. You can be triggered to be angry. You can be triggered to be upset. You can be triggered in any number of ways. Sometimes it's because whatever occurred is an unwitting reminder of something from the past.
Oh, I would say probably 99.9% of the time. Yes.
Exactamundo, my darling. So then, if what I'm responding to is something from the past, that's not even my life now.
Right.
So I have an opportunity. I can get therapy. I can talk to a coach. I can talk to a trusted friend and advisor and try to figure out, what am I responding to?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I this reactivated? Now, there will be very painful losses.
Yes.
That also comes with life.
Yes.
We can't avoid them.
Right.
But we also can't stay in them. And there's no clock for how long you should grieve, for how long you should be sad. There's no shoulds around it. And as soon as people around us start shoulding on us, we have to tell them not to should on us. Don't should on me. Don't should on me.
Funny.
And we can't should on ourselves.
Yeah.
I should be over this. Well, it's okay that you're not. What can you do for yourself? What results can you produce while you're in this space? It's like waiting for fear to go away, and then you think you'll be courageous. It's like waiting for sadness to go away, and then you think you'll be happy. Right. No, you can be sad and you can feel joy.
Yeah.
Just not at exactly the same time.
And maybe sometimes we can, right? Sometimes that is harmony. I mean, harmonizing is feeling different
and you
emotions
don't have to feel guilty
simultaneously. Yeah.
And you don't have to feel guilty. If you're grieving a dramatic and terrible loss and something makes you laugh, it doesn't mean you forgot the person you loved and lost. It means you're sad and you still have a sense of humor.
That's right.
Go figure.
Yeah.
And if we really, really think about it, what's true for me, it may not be true for you yet, but it could be, is that everyone I've ever loved and lost only ever wanted me to be happy, to lead a full life, and to enjoy my life. So I've chosen to celebrate the people I've lost by living my life fully. And it doesn't mean from time to time I'm not overcome with sadness and wish that things could be some other way than that they are. I be with it. I hang in there with it. Sometimes I ask for a hug if I need it. And then I let myself live life in that space just as fully as when I'm not in that space. And it takes practice. Whenever you try something new, we're in this culture where we think, oh, I listened to the podcast. I read the paragraph. I learned the 5 rules of whatever. I should be able to do it perfectly. Right. No, you can't. You have to try and fail, try, succeed, try and fail. It's the way life is. Not everything goes smoothly, nor can it. But it doesn't mean you're bad or wrong or insufficient or an imposter. If it all goes bad, we often think, oh, it's my fault. If it all goes good, we think, oh, I'm so lucky. Oh, but if they only knew who I really was, nobody would like me. They wouldn't even respect me or appreciate what I've done. No. No. There may be some abusive SOB in your life who actually does think that. Get rid of them.
Right.
Don't be that SOB in your own life.
Right.
We cannot be abusing ourselves.
Yeah.
Because we can't be in balance. We need to celebrate the highs, the lows, and everything in between, because that is the song of life. That's where the harmony of life lives and keeps us flowing in the harmony of life.
Yes. Well said. Well said. That gave me the chills. That was a beautiful line.
Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for this sage advice. It is truly a pleasure to have you here. It is truly a huge issue that I would say all of us deal with. I mean, if we haven't consciously gotten over this hurdle, we're dealing with a feeling of failure or feeling imposter or not feeling worthy and or lovable. And it's just time to stop. It's just time to stop it.
It is.
Because what else are we going to do with our lives? Are we going to really live like this every single day, hating it? I mean, we're going to be alive or you're going to be dead. And so either way, you got to.
So why die before you're dead?
Right.
Live life fully. And by the way, Coley, I am available, especially now that we can do this on Zoom. People don't even have to fly me across the country. I speak to groups, and if someone in the audience would like me to come and speak to one of their groups, I would be delighted to do that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for adding that. And where else can we get a hold of you? Tell us all of those things again, so that, I mean, all the links will be around.
I have a website that's www.susanbenderphelps.com.
Okay. And then
they can actually email me right from the contact there. I'm also, I'm on Instagram, and you and I have a winery also. We opened a winery 4 years ago. So the winery is Rose and Fern Cellars. And unfortunately, I can't ship wine out of state, only in the state of Oregon. So, well, it's a complicated thing and we're working on it, but we'll get there.
All right.
So I do the winery, and that's Rose and Fern Cellars. And I have Facebook page for Susan Bender Phelps. I have, what's my business one is, I forgot what my Facebook page is. No, Odyssey Mentor is my Twitter account, at Odyssey Mentor.
We'll get all the links. It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah, it's in here somewhere.
Yes.
What's that page?
It's in here
it's
somewhere.
Called, yeah. What's that page? I know it. I named it.
I know.
It's called, oh, Susan Bender Phelps for your, what's it called? For your next breakthrough. Oh yeah, Susan Bender Phelps for your next breakthrough.
Of course, there it is. Oh, she's so awesome. I love this lady. You guys, so you had a
I actually know the name of that page, and the only reason I couldn't think of it is because I needed it now.
I know, it's fine. You're perfect. It's harmony. We're harmonizing.
We're harmonizing, and we have tools.
Oh, that's right. Einstein didn't even know his phone number because he's like, why would I waste my brain space on things I can look up? And I'm like, I'm with ya.
Definitely. Definitely.
So, you have given our audience a taste of what they could expect if they work with you, or I'm sure you have just a lot of resources on your site that can help people move forward we want to keep this conversation going because, like Susan said, it isn't something that automatically just transpires because you decide that you want to stop being, balance driven and you want to start harmonizing with life. It doesn't just work like that. We have to cultivate. It's practice. It's a lifestyle. It's a
It
daily
is a practice. And
activity.
something simple that people could do right away is at the end of every day, you could do it on a journal, you could do it on a Facebook page, you could do it on Instagram. Write down 3 things that went well that day. It doesn't have to be a great success. And I'll tell you, when I first started doing this practice, I've been doing it now for 9 years. There were days where I wrote down, the toilet flushed every time I hit the lever because I was so caught up in everything that wasn't right about my life.
Mhm.
And I would have to really stretch my brain to come up with 3 things.
Right.
Now it's like, okay, which of the 10 things am I going to just pick 3? And I think 4 times in 9 years, I've put 4 things because I just had to.
Just so funny. You can put as many as you want is my rule. Coley's rule is you can do as much as you want.
You
But at
can,
least
but
three. At least
if
three.
you start with 3, it's a discipline that you just do. And it really is, yes, you can have many more than 3. But what you're doing is you're scanning for the 3 you want to make note of.
Mm-hmm.
And it has you scan your day then for everything that's going well.
Yeah.
And when you can look back every day, and then if you're having a really crappy day, you can go back and look at what went well the day before, the day before, and the day before, and the day before.
Right.
And I have found that that also helps bring me back to harmony.
I agree totally, 100%. Focusing on gratitude and the things that are right, like a flushing toilet, praise God. I mean, that's a big deal. If you've been without plumbing or your toilet always gets stopped up, you know what we're
Right.
talking about.
Yeah, my
Running hot
favorite
water is a godsend. I'm like,
right?
I turn on the tap and running hot water right out.
The
It's a
small
miracle. After camping, all summer during COVID, of course, and we lived down off the grid for 3 years too. Like it was
So you already knew kind of how to do
I
that.
I was well aware what I was jumping into and well prepared, but still, it sucks to have to haul your water and like dig your own poo hole. It's like the little things we take for granted. So be glad you have a house if you have a house. Some people don't even have that. A lot can be said
Right.
for a life.
And the other way to look at that, Coley, is we got to do all that stuff and there were no bullets flying. There was no tank coming to make us run in the night.
Yeah,
We could sleep all night,
yeah.
except when the occasional bear roared or
Right.
whatever.
Yes, for sure. Well, definitely start adding the 3 gratitude rule to your life, and I would invite you to just talk to us and tell us what you notice after doing it even 30 days. I mean, after even doing it 7 days.
Yeah, even 5. Just do it for 5 to 7 days. You don't have to do it for the rest of your life. But for me, after I did it the first 5 days, right? But after I did it the first 5 days, then I thought, well, I'll do it for a year.
Uh-huh.
And I did it for a year. And I did day 1, day 2, day 3, till I had 365 days. And then I went, I'm going to stop numbering and I'm just going to do it every day for the rest of my life. And
Sweet.
that's what I've been doing.
That's awesome. That's really beautiful. It's really important. Well, the results I think speak for themselves. Those of you who are just listening, you can join our YouTube and see this lovely, amazing, beautiful face talking to me right now. She's fucking amazing. Gorgeous, darling. She is.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. But it takes one to know one, darling.
Oh, it is true. I know. Well, thank thank you again for being here. Is there anything else that we want to say before we say goodbye to the people?
I don't know. Just thank you so much for listening, everyone. And if you just put one thing you learned today, one insight, one practice, give it a shot. Try it. And if it doesn't work, try it 10 more times.
Yeah.
Because we give up too soon.
Yes. Yeah, and you owe it to yourselves. We owe it to ourselves to live a full, vital life. There is nothing else coming. I mean, in this body, this is what we get. So don't wait until tomorrow because honestly, tomorrow might not come. We don't know. We must do things today. And you are worth it. We are worth it. We are amazing, amazing miracles of life. And we deserve to be able to look at ourselves in the mirror on the Zoom camera and be like, you look good, girl. You look good. You deserve that feeling. And I have spent my many years of my life feeling like shit, feeling like a failure, and feeling bad about everything I've tried to do, even though I get great results and I have, masses of people saying, way to go, you're awesome, you're so great. And then I'm just like, oh, this sucks. This just sucks. I hate it all. It's a terrible feeling. It's a really horrible feeling. Self-sabotage and self-defeat it's a killer. And we don't want you to have to go through that. We have both been through, we feel the fear and do it anyway. I mean, I'm terrified of speaking. Susan was there when I did my, she helped me craft my first keynote speech on the main stage. And I was so terrified. I was terrified. I have stage fright and anxiety.
But you did such a good job. She did such a good job that it took 2 weeks for her to get back to me because she had to keep calling all the people who were in the audience who wanted to enroll with her in doTERRA or buy things from her from doTERRA because of that talk. She hadn't a moment to spare for 2 flipping weeks. And I was like, how did she do? How did she do? I need to know.
I know, like the mother who kicked the bird out of the nest and then I just sailed away.
Did it fly? Did the cat get it?
I know, that's funny. Well, thank you for being there with me. Thank you for being here with us. And thank you, people, for listening and really taking this to heart and doing some examination so that you too can feel, worthy and just be happy with your life. Be happy with what is, because this is what it is. And
if you're not happy,
we can change it.
Yeah, if you're not happy, be okay with that. Because if you don't have bad times, you won't appreciate the happy times.
Mm-hmm. Well said, especially in the times that we're living in now. So be grateful for, to remember all the things that we have still, because it could always be worse, right?
Yep. The earthquake could come tomorrow.
Oh, Lord, don't tempt the evil eye, Papa.
Oh, Coley, I so love spending time with you. Thank you so much. This day was such a gift.
The same. So thank you. I love you. Mwah. We'll see everyone.
Wrap your arms and give a squeeze. That's my virtual hug.
Yes, virtual hug.